Rachel Zegler is one of the most controversial women within Hollywood, and she is box office poison. Every project she's touching lately has turned to trash, and now her latest movie, Y2K, has bombed at the box office with a measly $2 million opening. I have a few different things to show off, but before I get into the topic, if you enjoy the content I create, check out the links in the description, join the community in my live streams, and consider supporting through Patreon or YouTube memberships. Now, I do not like Rachel Zegler. I don't really like anything that she's in, and I just do not think that looking to the future, she's going to be in a lot of projects after this latest wave, because after Snow White, while I'm sure she's going to do one or two other things, I just don't see her ever really being a non-controversial actress. Again, because once you've said you hate an audience, once you've said you hate the material you are working with, there's not really a way to come back from that, and everyone will always question if you hate them. Even when it's a new movie, they will question if you hate the material when you're doing a new project. And now Y2K, the latest film from the supposed, quote, rising star and future Snow White Rachel Zegler, has bombed spectacularly at the weekend box office in its opening weekend. This is a That Part Place article, and I really didn't see a lot of promotional material for this. She didn't go on some like big PR campaign. She didn't really go into any interviews for this. So it seems that they probably got cold feet because of her previous attitude in interviews, and they were afraid that she was going to damage the reputation of this movie, and they took a chance. And I don't really think that it paid off, because I still think that if she had said controversial things in an interview, more people would have heard about it. But nobody was talking about this leading up to release, and well, now it's done terribly. So, the outspoken Snow White actress hasn't had much luck at the box office since puttering onto the scene with Steven Spielberg's West Side Story. She was in The Hunger Games: A Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, which did make a lot of money, but I don't really think that was because of her. I mean, maybe she has some fans that went to see it. They didn't go to see this movie if she has any fans, but that's a big franchise now, and of course, that's going to make money. I think we all had expected that. But West Side Story was a remarkable flop, soon followed by Shazam! Fury of the Gods, which did nothing to turn around DC's dismal box office streak. And even The Hunger Games became a major failure, drawing the lowest box office take of any Hunger Games movie. I do think that this was partially because it was not in the main series. It didn't have Katniss and Peeta and Gale and Snow and all of the rest of the characters that people like. So it was a chance that they were willing to take because of how much the other movies had made, and this still made money, but it just was not what they were expecting. And now we know this movie is doing terrible. It's a comedy horror film with a budget of just $15 million, and yet the film drew in a measly $2.1 million in its opening weekend. So I don't think that this movie is really going to do a lot over its total box office run, and I don't think that even the upcoming Snow White movie is going to do crazy numbers. Even Disney is probably not going to make the money they expect with Snow White because of her attitude. Again, she's not the only problem with Snow White and the 7 magical creature companions, but she is still negatively affecting this movie's image. And when you have Gal Gadot versus Rachel Zegler, people are going to side with Gal because she's significantly prettier. Now, we know that they did change the story in this, so it's not who's the fairest of them all in terms of their beauty, because of course, this is a modern remake, so we can't just follow the OG story. We have to switch it up in some dumb way that people aren't going to like. It's fair in terms of, like, their social justice. So Snow White in this is kind of, yeah, like, trying to save the kingdom, and she's trying to be a strong woman. She's trying to play to her strengths that she got from her father because he was a leader. And then, of course, you have the evil queen who's just being a total bitch throughout the movie, which isn't, shocking. That's not crazy. But they did change the story. You have a controversial actress. You have the seven magical companions who are supposed to be the dwarves, that really look like trash. I do not agree with their decision to have them be CGI creatures at all whatsoever. What's the point to have a live action adaptation when it's 90% CGI? I personally think that's dumb. And a lot of other people agree with these takes because, as you can see, the latest trailer, which is 5 days old, is sitting at 27,000 likes to 701,000 dislikes. So this is going to hit a million dislikes, and it's not even going to be at 100K likes. Hell, it might not even be at 50K likes, which is insane to think about. You would think that this is, Snow White, it's Disney, it's one of Disney's biggest princesses, that this would be a great opportunity for them to make money, but it's not. And people are pointing and laughing, being absolutely brutal, saying things like they finally did it, they made a movie nobody is going to pirate. Yeah, I don't really see a reason why you'd even pirate it. This is not going to be a movie that is going to be enjoyable, at least in my opinion. I don't think it's going to be, but the internet is uniting against Snow White and Rachel Zegler and Disney, and it just goes to show that even if she has a behemoth company behind her and a giant, legacy, in this case, Snow White, it's not enough to carry a controversial actress. Now, Disney does not really care, right? They know that they are going to make some money on this movie, and the Bob Iger effect is definitely well underway here. Bob Iger truly does believe in the message. He truly believes that one day the message will pay off and they will make a lot of cash from it, but that has not been the case, and I do not think that it will be the case. And Bob Iger is willing to sacrifice a ton of shows and movies because he's enabled by the big box office hits. So look at something like Deadpool and Wolverine, made $1 billion. As long as he has $2 to $3 billion hits within a year, he's willing to pump out 5 to 10 absolutely trash products because he thinks one day that people will finally, see the light and they will see the vision behind these pieces of content, and that, oh, at least we'll have a back catalog that people are going to love. But that's not going to happen. People are also saying things like, wow, Disney, you are truly incredible. It took you 3 years, multiple rewrites, unnecessary CGI, and $209 million for me to enjoy a comment section of a movie I'll never watch. Bless you. I'll give Disney some credit. They are brave enough to leave the comment section open. I'm surprised that this hasn't been marked as like a kids YouTube trailer, because then it locks the likes and dislikes and also the comments. But they decided not to do that, which is honestly pretty shocking. So, yeah, I mean, right now, Disney is facing some behemoth problems with Rachel Zegler, and it seems that even other movies are facing problems. I mean, this thing bombed. It is a comedy horror film with a small budget of just $15 million, but it only made $2 million in its opening. So, I don't even think that it's going to reach its budget, and it was a very tiny budget. So I'll be keeping my eye on this to see if anything else happens, but for now, that's all that I really had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this, give it a like, and if you didn't, give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I'll talk to you all again in the next video really soon.